Two people can make the same amount of money and end up in completely different places financially. Same income, same starting point, completely different outcomes. I used to think that gap was explained by discipline. One person saved more, spent less, made smarter individual decisions. And discipline matters. I am not dismissing it. But the deeper explanation is not discipline. It is time horizon. The person who ends up in a genuinely different financial position is almost always the person who is operating with a longer time horizon than everyone around them. Not smarter necessarily. Not harder working. Just further seeing. A long time horizon changes every decision you make in ways that are almost invisible in the moment, but compound into enormous differences over years. What looks like a small choice today, how you structure an income stream, whether you reinvest or extract, which clients you take and which you decline, looks completely different when you extend the time frame you are evaluating it against. I want to walk through what this actually means in practice, because time horizon is one of those concepts that sounds straightforward but has implications that most people never fully work through. The first implication is about what you are willing to be patient with. Short time horizon thinking demands immediate return on everything. If something does not produce results quickly, it gets abandoned. The audience that is not growing fast enough. The system that takes 6 months to show results. The relationship that has not converted into revenue yet. Short time horizon thinking cuts all of those things because they do not justify themselves in the immediate window. Long time horizon thinking evaluates those same things completely differently. An audience that grows slowly but consistently for 2 years becomes something that short time horizon thinking would have abandoned in month 3. A system that takes 6 months to produce results, but then runs for 5 years without significant maintenance, is an extraordinary return on investment that only becomes visible if you are willing to wait for it. The patience is not passive. It is strategic. You are giving the investment the time it needs to compound. The second implication is about what you build versus what you buy. Short time horizon thinkers tend to buy outcomes. They pay for faster results, for shortcuts, for solutions that solve the immediate problem. And sometimes that is the right call. But the consistent pattern I have noticed in people who build genuine wealth over time is that they tend to build assets rather than buy outcomes. They are willing to invest time and resources into something that will not pay off for a year or two because they can see clearly what it will be worth when it does. I spent years buying outcomes. A marketing service that produced leads for a season. A tool that solved a problem temporarily. A hire that filled a gap without building any lasting capability. None of those investments compounded. They were consumed and had to be replaced. The shift to building assets, content that compounds, systems that scale, relationships that deepen change the return profile of everything I invested in because assets appreciate and outcomes evaporate. The third implication is about how you respond to short-term pain. Every compounding investment goes through a period where it looks like it is not working. The audience that is not growing yet. The system that has not found its rhythm. The market position that has not crystallized. In the short term, these things look like failures. They produce doubt. They invite the question of whether you should cut your losses and try something else. Long-time horizon thinking reframes that period entirely. The pain is not a signal to stop. It is the cost of entry for the compounding that comes after it. Every meaningful thing I have built had a period in the middle where it looked like it was not going to work. The ones I abandoned during that period, I later watched succeed in someone else's hands. The ones I stayed with, past the doubt, became the foundations of everything that followed. The fourth implication, and this is the one that ties everything together, is about how you define the goal. Short time horizon thinking defines success as hitting a number soon. Long-time horizon thinking defines success as building something that generates value indefinitely. Those are not just different timelines. They are different games entirely. When I shifted my definition of success from a number I wanted to hit to a structure I wanted to build, the entire orientation of my decisions changed. I stopped asking, how do I maximize revenue this quarter? And started asking, how do I build something that is still generating value in 10 years? I stopped optimizing for what looked impressive now and started optimizing for what would compound quietly in the background for a long time. That shift is not natural. We are wired for immediate feedback. The education around business and income is almost entirely focused on short time horizons this quarter, this year, this campaign. The people who genuinely build wealth are almost always operating on a different clock from everyone around them. Not because they are more disciplined, because they have internalized a different definition of the game they are playing. Wealth is not the accumulation of money. It is the accumulation of structures that generate value over time. And structures take time to build. The longer your time horizon, the more structures you can build, and the more time those structures have to compound before you need to draw on them. That is the whole game. Extend your time horizon. Build structures, not outcomes. Stay patient through the period where it looks like it is not working. And let the compounding do what compounding does when you give it enough time. If you have been here from the beginning, you already understand the foundation this sits on. If today is your first video, go back to episode 1. Subscribe, because tomorrow we go further. I will see you then.